this so-called billionaire was just throwing people in prison. And when we got to prison, we found 9 people that had been put in prison by the same nwoko from his village. If you guys paid attention to it, there was a time nwoko also went and hijacked one lady's father. The lady was crying all over social media that Ned has ruined it. Ned has ruined a lot of lives using the police force. Anybody who is a public figure, who is in political office, our duty first and foremost is to hold them to account, no matter how powerful they are. We have found out also that he has done cross-border prostitution by bringing in underage girls from places like Morocco to Nigeria. These are international sex trafficking crimes. So his license is also our target, that he's not allowed to practice law both in Nigeria and the UK. You must understand that I'm not fighting for Regina Daniel. I'm fighting against abuse of office by a Nigerian senator who is colluding with the Nigeria police and who has had a history of using the police to oppress people. Right? Regina Daniel's issue came to my attention when her husband arrested a TikToker named Timothy Gabriel. His TikTok name is Tuma, because they claim that Tuma accused Regina Daniels of having kids that do not belong to this particular senator. The senator procured the Nigerian police, particularly the FCT command, got Tuma arrested and sent him to prison. They eventually brought Tuma to court after we protested, and Tuma was granted bail but could not meet his bail condition for 4 months. When he came out, he had been battered so bad, he was forced to apologize to Regina Daniel's husband, Senator Ned Nwoko. His real name is Chinedu Nwoko, but he abbreviated it to Ned. So when again Senator Ned Nwoko got Regina Daniel's brother arrested, apparently for cybercrime and defamation of character as they claim, I was contacted, not by their family. And when I was contacted, most people said, well, you don't have to fight for this guy because they had been fighting against you. And I said, no, it doesn't matter. I know Ned Nwoko. Ned Nwoko was the person I fought some 5 years back when he was prosecuting falsely and oppressively a lady known as Jaruma who used to sell aphrodisiacs on Instagram. So I heard about Jaruma, never met Jaruma before, but I felt it strange that this so-called billionaire was just throwing people in prison. In 2021, I was also arrested. That time not by Ned Nwoko, but I was arrested by the Nigerian police, accused of doing a protest on New Year's Eve. And when we got to prison, we found 9 people that had been put in prison by the same Ned Nwoko from his village, because they said when young people were fighting against him for stealing their land to set up what is now known as his sports university. We fought and helped these guys to get out. Later on, if you guys paid attention to it, there was a time Ned Nwoko also went and hijacked one lady's father. The lady was crying all over social media that Ned has ruined it. Ned has ruined a lot of lives using the police force and using his power. And one thing more people must know in Nigeria is that anybody who is a public figure, who is in political office, our duty first and foremost is to hold them to account, no matter how powerful they are. And when I heard that Ned had pounced on his in-laws, I immediately got involved in it. In fact, as at the time he arrested Regina's brother, I was declared wanted in Lagos for participating in the protest. So I had to run from Lagos to come to Abuja. And by the time I got to Abuja, we had already arranged a lawyer to fight for him. That is Sammy West, Samuel Ojeogwu, that's Regina's brother. And we were able to get him freed on Monday after spending about 3 nights in detention in an unjust and unlawful and illegal manner. So after freeing him, I discovered that Ned had other plans in place to arrest Regina's mom. He had intercepted Regina's phone calls and was going to use it against her. He was planning to reveal and release her private chats and private parts in the open. And as someone who is an advocate for respect for human rights and dignity, there's no way I can sit back, even when so many people will say, well, why would you care about a girl who was part of the oppressive system that you've been fighting against? Well, I don't care about Jews or Gentiles. I fight for human rights regardless of whether you support me or not. So your support or your love for me is not a condition for me to create a society that is just and fair. And I hate it. Everybody understand this. I hate it when people use their power, when they use illegally acquired wealth to punish people because they feel they can get away with it. So that was how we got into another issue. Found out that Ned married Regina Daniel underage. Now, you must understand that Nigeria is a signatory to a lot of international instruments that opposes sexual trafficking, all right, and messing with underage girls. You cannot marry an underage girl because there's a Child Rights Protection Act in this country that forbids, powerful people from using their position to marry, whether you are powerful or not. You don't have a right to marry somebody who has not reached the age of consent, even when their parents say, come and take the person. We procure the passport, it's available, you can see it. Upon discovering that this might be a problem, because he's an international lawyer, he practices in the UK, where he's gotten involved in a lot of shady dealings, by the way. He went and helped her procure a voter's card. But her original international passport, with which Ned has traveled extensively with Regina Daniel, shows that at the time they married, she was 17 years old. He knew it, but he knew that an alibi would be needed in the future, so he went and collected from her a voter's card. But even Regina Daniel's parents and handlers have told me that she never knew about that voter's card. So there's something still shady about it. But when it comes to public identity cards that are acceptable, the international passport is probably number one, because that one goes through a lot of scrutiny before you can get it. So to go and bring an INEC voter's card or driver's license to say anybody can procure that. I've seen people who cannot see who have driver's license in Nigeria. So it's nothing new, but it is impunity that we are against. It is a fraud, and I know that whenever these kind of things happen, people will say, you don't need to get him, it's wife and husband matter. Yes, it is wife and husband matter, but where there is no wife and there's no husband, then it becomes society's problem. And why I say there's no wife and there's no husband is that Ned also managed not to have formally married Regina because he knew that she was underage. That's why there's no court document that shows that they are married. If anyone exists, he probably also went and forged it. But on a larger corruption problem that is facing Nigeria, Ned is one of the most corrupt persons in this country. And I'm also an anti-corruption fighter. He's the one who, in conjunction with Malami and the rest of them, claim that they are refunding local government money to Nigeria. And Ned gets millions and millions of dollars in what they claim is legal consultancy to the federal government to help retrieve money that already exists that belongs to local governments. And that's how he's able to get away with all these crimes. We have found out also that he has done cross-border prostitution by bringing in underage girls from places like Morocco to Nigeria. These are international sex trafficking crimes. And we are saying Ned should be suspended immediately from the Senate. He should be arrested by, I won't say Nigeria police, it should be a crack team because the police is in his pocket. And his trial should commence. And also, we are going to start processing in the UK for Ned to be arrested and also extradited to the UK for crimes that he committed, including someone who is in the UK, who is a practicing lawyer in the UK, engaging in unethical practices. You are not allowed to do that. So his license is also our target, that he's not allowed to practice law both in Nigeria and the UK. I know that when you guys hear this, you may not understand. It's a fight that we must take to sanitize our country so that criminals like Ned will not be a senator in this country. And until Nigeria gets to that point, Nigeria is not going to get better. It doesn't matter how much they give you or they convince you that this is husband and wife matter. It doesn't matter how much you pay bloggers. We are always going to stand for what is just and what is right, and that's why I'm opposed to Ned Nwoko. Some of you may not have heard, but I will disclose, he also got me arrested in 2021 because I was fighting for Jaruma. And he was involved in another fraud because he has an NGO that he claims is eradicating mosquitoes in Nigeria. And what I used in puncturing his lie was that I said to him, you want to eradicate mosquitoes in Nigeria, but there are mosquitoes in your compound in Abuja. And I found out while I was doing that case with him that he has the media in his pocket. There's a lot of these media guys who are working for him. And also, Ned has got huge amount of support from the Nigeria police. They go to his house to eat every day, policemen in Nigeria. Shame on our Nigeria police for having sold the police force for free.